Oh, and this is how we get down. The content never stops. It might move, but it never stops. Welcome in, everybody, to the fastest growing sports entertainment show on TV, on YouTube, anywhere that you can find us. This is the Coach and Bro Show. I am the coach well over a decade inside of the WWE, and my partner, also many, many years as the greatest writer in the history of pro wrestling, my good friend, Mr. Vince Russo from russosbrand.com. Good afternoon, sir.
What is going on, Coach? I see you're out there tearing it up. Very, very, very big. I can't listen. Nobody tries to keep up with the coach more than me. I can't keep up with the coach. He's the it girl. Coach, you're the it girl now.
Oh,
Coach.
my goodness. And even when I do my hair as the it girl, it just doesn't seem to go the way that I want. This is, I've told everybody, my favorite time of the week. It's my favorite show that I get to do because we get to dive into the big topics of pro wrestling. And Vince, because of this new little show I'm doing on Busted Open, I was forced to watch AE Dynamite last night. So I've got a couple thoughts. But also on Thursdays, we don't have to tape for Stadium, so we can take our super stickers as they come. Would you like to tell the good people who always seem to find us how they can be a part of the show?
Yeah, guys, please. A big part of this show, guys, seriously, is you are part of the show. And we love your questions. We love your comments. And we will bring you right up on the screen, include you in our conversation through super stickers and donations. Whatever you want to ask us about, whatever you want to talk about, whatever your comments and opinions are, you are an important part of this show, Coach.
But make no mistake about it. We had a comment on Monday that hurt us to our core, Vince Russo. So today, I vow, no, I promise, we will answer every single question that is posed to us because God forbid we miss one at all. Vince, are you going to make that promise with me?
We do not duck anybody or anything, Coach. Bring it on.
So we're going to start in a way that we've never started the show before because this is not a WWE show. It's a pro wrestling show. And so last night, Vince, you know me, I'm a student of the game. I like to break down matches all over So I thought, you know what? We're only 10 days away from All In Texas. I haven't watched AEW in depth for a while, so I turned it on right at 8 o'clock my time. And who walks out? Hangman Adam Page, right? And Vince, all I thought after about 5 minutes was Vince Russo would be blowing his brains out right now because they came out and they cut a promo. And you told me, make it reality-based. Always, it's got to be about reality.
Yes.
So
yes.
They already have a one-on-one match at All In. That was already in the corner on the graphic. So Hangman Adam Page wanted to take it a step further. So he called out Moxley and said, oh, we're not making it a normal match. No. I want this to be your favorite kind of match. I want to walk into your world, a Texas death match. But he didn't stop there, Vince. No. He then said, and this is where I thought about you, I know you're going to bring everybody, the Death Riders, this guy, that guy, that guy. I want all of it. I want everything. And I thought to myself, isn't like the best main events when they're already announced one-on-one? And I walked away thinking, is this 1-on-4? Is this 1-on-3? It might have been the worst written promo for a star I've ever heard. And I just tuned in for 2 minutes. How do we do that, Vince? How do we write for guys and then they don't work it out? And I come to find out that they don't even rehearse during the day for these types of situations.
Yeah.
Does that surprise you?
No, Coach, I find it hard to believe that anybody is writing that promo for Hangman Page. I don't think that's what Tony Khan does. I don't think Tony Khan is sitting there writing promos. So what's happening is a lot of these people are going into business for themselves. And here's the funny thing, Coach, without watching the show, without knowing anything about it, if Moxley has a crew and the crew is always getting involved,
yes.
Well, Coach, when that happens, what kind of a match do we usually have? We usually have a steel cage match, so it will be a one-on-one match. Because if I'm watching this and you're trying to get me to watch this, and Hangman Page is telling me everybody's going to get involved, then I know it's going to be a big schmoz and it's going to be an F finish. If he's got a crew, this should be a one-on-one steel cage. But that's the problem, Coach. Logic. Just out the window in professional wrestling today.
By the way, I just got a tweet. I thought you'd like to hear it. Would you like to hear the tweet I just got?
Let's hear it, man. Let's hear it.
You from Hooping News Updates, not even a wrestling page.
Let's hear it.
You and Russo are gold.
Yes.
Love the show.
Yes. Very nice. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes.
Clearly, he knows that you're a former world champion.
Yes, and so are you, Coach. I don't want to.
I was only a tag team champion. But hey, I mean, you said it. You said it. You said it.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me as I think about next weekend, Vince, and I really other than that, I actually kind of enjoyed the show. I love MJF. I'm a huge fan of his. But the other part that I thought about you that I thought to myself, what are we doing? And I've been very, very silent recently because I took so much venom on the social media that I love. I mean, that I hate so much. Mercedes Mone, the CEO, and they play CEO. That's how our music goes. CEO. Vince, I don't know if she could hold one more thing when she's walking down to the ring because she's got a big match coming up with Timeless Toni Storm. By the way, very creative entrance, black and white, the whole deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mercedes walks down with not one, not two, not three, not four, 5 title belts on her person. She is fighting for another title that Toni Storm holds, and she was down there eating a big T-bone steak, had a cake next to her, and then her butler guy in a bow tie standing there and got a bunch of what's that stuff that hoity-toity people drink? Champagne. Got champagne thrown in his face, and I got to thinking to myself, what if she wins this match? Can you carry 6 title belts all at once?
Coach, what did I just say? We have to talk about logic. Okay? Right. And you telling me this without watching the show, here's what I'm going to say. If she has 6 belts, how can any one of them be special?
That's what that was one of my 2 thoughts. Please go ahead.
No, I mean, this 6, first of all, how am I supposed to remember what all 6 belts she has? Second of all, if she has 6 belts, none of those belts are special. This is what I mean about, writing and structure and making everything mean something. Listen, nothing against her and her performance, but when you have 6 belts, none of them are going to mean anything, Coach.
And last night she was defending the TBS title belt because they've tried to go old school. You remember back in the day they'd have the WCW TV championship, all that kind of stuff. So it is, I guess, and I'm trying also not to be critical of the in-ring work. I thought I really thought the match was okay. But as you're heading into their biggest event of the year, and it's in Texas, and it's all in and all that kind of stuff, I also thought, what are the other females in the AEW locker room thinking when one person has 5 belts? And I hate using the word prop because it's not a prop. But when you have a title, it makes you mean a little bit more to the fan base. And the AEW female division is basically Mercedes, Toni Storm, and because nobody else holds any titles, they don't get any TV time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem, Coach. And you've got to be so careful when you're in the position of writing the show. You can't play favorites. You can't play a manager of a baseball team, a coach of a basketball team. At that level, nobody's playing favorites. It's an even playing field. And you can tell, you could tell the way he talks about her, the way he, glows when he brings up her name. It's no surprise. she is a favorite of Tony Khan. And that's a curse. That is a curse, because at that point, it's not an even playing field. And at that point, the other women in the locker room are going to know she's a favorite and she's getting special treatment. And that's how problems start in your locker room, Coach. You got
and it festers. It festers, right?
Festers. You've got to be smart and aware of this stuff, man.
And if you're the locker room leader, and we always go back to what you and I know. And what do we always say? WWVD.
Yes.
What would Vince do?
Absolutely.
And if you're Mercedes and you come over and you've got all this experience and you've been around for well over a decade, you should know better. To be the CEO, you don't need 5 belts. You just need to walk around like you're a boss and do boss things, like have an assistant. If you're a boss, every CEO I know has an assistant. So make that assistant a character, repeatable character, like stuff like that. It's not about the titles, because in WWE, we've seen the last, year and a half, they've gone out of their way to add belts for the women, and in my opinion, to make them more relevant.
You know, Coach, you really have to ask yourself, that is a great point that you just brought up. Who's teaching these wrestlers today? Who's teaching her that? Who's teaching Mercedes? Tony Khan's not teaching her that, because Tony Khan doesn't know that himself. So the question is, when you're not in a car, again, we eliminate the house shows, we eliminate all that. So you're not in a car with Arn Anderson going to the next town. Who's teaching you that? That's the problem. I always say this, Coach, the marks are in the ring, and the marks are leading the marks are leading the marks. There's no veterans schooling these people and teaching these people anymore. And they don't know. She doesn't understand what you just said, because nobody's teaching her that, Coach.
There's still some people, and clearly in AEW they have a few, that feel like doing it a certain way is the best way to promote your company. In a position like what AEW is right now, you can't call yourself a competitor to WWE. I deal with it right now with the PFL. A lot of people I work with think we're a competitor of the UFC. We've only been around for 6 years. We are not. You got to know what lane you're driving in.
Right.
And if you have a new promotion, and if Tony Khan, God, if he had some self-awareness to put people around him that were not I guess his closest friend is a former Mark, that is now a senior VP, and you put really smart people, like we just had Hurricane on my radio show, and Hurricane wrestled, was over, wrestled all the top guys. Now he's an agent. There's really good minds out there. You mentioned Arn Anderson. Why aren't you sitting down with Arn Anderson and saying, what would I do here? What should I do here? And also for me, if I'm a character that wants to be the highest paid, wants to have the longest career, do you think I care about having 5 belts? No, I care about how strong does my character look. That's what I care about. And if you don't think like that and you don't have that mindset, you're never going to grow. Hence, your company will never grow.
Yeah, Coach, because nobody is thinking that way. Nobody is thinking character. Nobody is thinking branding. Nobody is thinking long term. We are in the era of the pop. Everything is done for the pop. Every move is done for the pop. Psychology's out the window. I was looking at this today, Coach, with Triple H and the WWE. Because there's no creative, because there's no storylines, because there's no character, this is what they have. We keep introducing new person after new person after new person. That's how we get our pop. When we bring somebody up from new NXT, we see them, we get our pop. When we sign Aleister Black, we get our pop. When we bring Rusev back, we get our pop. That has replaced creative. But Coach, you can't, when you keep bringing people in week after week after week, guess what? Nobody's getting Over. They bring that Mateo guy in, okay? 2 weeks later, they're bringing the new Samoan in. That's how they're getting the pop. So this entire business in 2025 is built on the pop. Guess what, Coach? The pop is short term. And that's why eventually all this is going to backfire because there's no long-term planning with anything, Coach.
Vince, I am so disappointed in your take. If you think for a second that at WrestleMania, Triple H gave himself his own interest when Stone Cold and Bret Hart were already on the stage for a pop, oh, you're out of your mind. That was not for a pop. That was to be a part of the show, Vince, not for a pop. What are you talking about? And it's funny you should mention not long-term storytelling, because I thought about you also. For some reason, we say things here on the show, we get crushed in the moment. Then, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 weeks later, we're proven right. Are we not? So we mentioned that The Rock, who came back, the only time we've seen him is for the event where he says, I only came back to sell tickets. What? What happened? Oh, I wasn't a part of it. Cena, Cody Rhodes, what? And we saw The Rock this week. The Rock made an appearance. Have not seen nor heard from him, but we saw him meet up with Jelly Roll, your favorite country music act, Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
Now, Vince, I don't know about you, but you and I have been pretty good friends for about a year now, right? So if you and I were big supporters of each other, and I was telling the world how much I loved Vince Russo and all the content you do and the number one songs, and for 10 years, would you or would you not think that we would have met at some point if we were great friends during those 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, I would hope so. Let me put it to you that way, Coach. I would hope so. Truly, yes.
Well, apparently in this video where Rock, I love you, buddy. Jelly Roll, I love you, buddy. Oh, my goodness. Rock literally says, we've been friends for 10 years. Texting, showing love, all that kind of stuff. Both guys can afford private jets. And at no point at any award show have they ever met. Is it all for show? Is it all for show?
Yeah.
I hate to say that. Is it all for show?
Yeah, Coach, listen, the entertainment business, the wrestling business, the music business, you and I both know, man, it's all smoke and mirrors, man. It is all smoke and mirrors.
So I just bring that up. By the way, I know we have a super sticker. If you guys want your voice to be heard, if you have an opinion, a question, put it in there. Producer man, for some reason, my layout today is super small, so I'm going to need you to text all of those. We'll start with the super stickers here in a second. One thing I want to show you, because you bring up the women and the divisions and all kinds of that kind of stuff. You're introducing somebody new. They actually put out, this is on one of the dirt sheets, Stephanie Vicure, they're talking about the popularity events, was the third most searched WWE Women's Superstar on Google in June 2025. I almost feel like they should add on Wednesdays of the third week of the, I've never heard somebody brag about the third most. It's like finishing third on Dancing with the Stars. Did it really happen? And they're trying to figure out ways. So this is one of the females. I actually like her a lot. That now she's the third most. Who do you think number one and number two is?
In the WWE?
Yeah, this says WWE Women's Superstar.
I would have to think at this point in time, God, I would almost have to think, is Tiffany Stratton number one at this point?
I would think that she is. That they don't have the answer here. This is just a Stephanie.
Yeah,
I would guess. I would guess probably Liv, because she's hurt.
Yeah,
people want to know how she's doing.
Yeah.
And she was hurt in the month of June. And I would think maybe Tiffany or maybe Rhea Ripley.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I bet you it would be Rhea Ripley. And if Liv wasn't hurt, I bet you she'd be second. I bet you that would be 1, 2.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. It's one of those situations. And speaking real quick and kind of all over the place, but it all makes sense. This also leads to evolution. And on IG Live last night, Mercedes Moné, after she successfully, Vince, defended her TBS TV championship, she said this quote about Evolution. She goes, I think it's about time. They waited way too long to have an all-women's pay-per-view, but I love and will always be a big advocate for women's wrestling, so I'm excited for that. So it's good to know that the CEO endorses Evolution. Do you think that they waited too long, and will Evolution be the success that the first one very clearly was?
Coach, if this is another show they're selling, it's a success. That's what it's all about, guy. I mean, that's what it's all about. If we could have an Evolution show with all women and it's another show we can sell to somebody. Coach, I don't know when people are going to start to understand, okay? The WWE, they're 100% content creators. If you have money and you want to pay us, we are going to create for you. It's not about characters. It's not about storylines. It's not about good television. It's about creating content. So yes, great idea. Somebody will buy an all-women's show, Evolution. Yes, put that on the menu for somebody else to buy. 1,000% great idea.
Once again, you continue to offend me in the first 20 minutes of the show.
Don't tell me nobody wanted to buy this show, Coach. Come on.
No. And we do have a few super stickers to get to. But, Vince, I've got to show you something.
Yeah.
I don't want to ever hear you say again that TKO is all about the money, that they would do anything and everything for the almighty dollar. Or would they? This is from Fanatics Authentic. Tickets are now live for our WWE photo experience at the Fanatics Evolution Superstore. That's right. They're having an Evolution Superstore next week. And on the the Evolution Store thing, I think Producer Man's going to put it up here in a second. Maybe I'm not quite on. Isn't Evolution all female pay-per-view, right?
Yes.
Okay. So on the advertisement, you have Rhea Ripley front and center.
I saw
Then
this.
you have Damian Priest and Jey Uso. I don't think they're female competitors. Then you have Charlotte behind Damian Priest, Naomi or Jay. I think that's Naomi. Then you have Tiffany Stratton behind Charlotte. I guarantee you she's not happy about that. But then you have randomly in the back row, Vince, you have from right to left. I think that's Lyra. I can't tell that one. Jacob Fatu, one of the Bellas, Io Sky, and Jade. There it is right there. Look at the back row. How did Jacob Fatu get into an Evolution Store photo op experience?
I don't know. I don't know what we do. Listen, you know what it sounds like, Coach? I'm looking at this ad and I'm saying to myself, seriously, I'm saying this as a shoot. I am so confused by all the content and all the shows. I don't know what match is on what show. I think people working for the company now are just as confused as I am. I seriously believe that.
What do you think Jey Uso said when they called him? They said, hey, Jay, we need you for an autograph show. Oh, yeah? Where's that going to be at? Oh, at Evolution. Really? Yeah. It's an Evolution photo under Fanatics. Isn't that a female show? Jay, yeah. You're over like Rover. Let's stop it. You're over like Rover. We got to put you everywhere. Except being the world heavyweight champion. We've got a few super stickers, Vince. And as you guys know, in our world, we're changing the game. We do nothing like anybody else does it. So if it's $5 or less, that's a small sticker. We give you respect. $10 medium, $15 large. And if you have a super sticker, $20 or more, you get cut right to the front of the line. Just like you're buying a jump the line pass at Disneyland.
And $20 or more, Coach, I will sing their name.
He will sing your name.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know what would be sillier, paying $20 for Vince to sing your name or signing up for a Damian Priest photo op at the Evolution show. All right. Small sticker, although we do respect George so very much. He goes, thoughts on Evolve being booked on the same weekend of All In across the street from a Beyonce concert and during the MLB All-Star Weekend. LOL. I honestly did not know that. So Evolve is a new show that Peter Rosenberg calls. Love Peter, by the way. But I didn't know that they had their own show. Like, I thought they taped those maybe on the night of SmackDown. That's what I thought. But apparently they're going to have their own show. You're just shaking your head like I don't even know what to say.
I can't, Coach. Listen, I understand my age, guys. I understand. I'm 64. I am telling you as a shoot, I can't keep up with it. There is too much. I am overwhelmed and overconsumed with the wrestling product. Coach, I try to keep up with it. I can't keep up with it.
That's why you and I, we always share the wealth. I watch these shows. You watch these shows. Producer man watches the other four. But it also comes back to this. Less is more. And I don't know when. Well, I do know when TKO bought it, because they look at every show as a dollar amount in their ledger.
Yes.
And to me, they think if we do more, we can sell more advertising. But Vince, it's not even watering down the product. What it's doing is, I can't even imagine if you would have had 6 shows in front of you every week as the lead writer, then you have other writers below you. How you would have even kept up with that, how they keep up with it, I have no idea.
There's no way. Coach, you can't. I really believe it's an impossibility. There is no way. And that's why you're watching a lot of things that don't make sense. Coach, I was watching this week, the main event of Raw. Sami Zayn comes out with his ribs taped. I'm like, do you guys forget that last week Yeet had his ribs taped? I believe they are churning out so much content, they can't keep track of it within the company. You don't do that. You don't tape a guy's main events 2 weeks after you taped another guy's ribs in the main event. You just don't do that. I don't think they're able to keep up with him themselves, Coach. I don't.
Once again, so disappointed in you, Vince, because clearly they wanted to show how gutsy Sami Zayn was. So when you tape up those ribs and you're selling them, the one move that you're going to do, Vince, is off the top rope backflip onto a couple of guys as you have cracked ribs. Everybody knows that.
I am so disappointed in you.
What did I do?
There is no sorta. There was no sorta selling, okay? No, Coach, there was no selling, just like Jey Uso no-sold the ribs a week earlier. There was no sort of selling. There was no selling.
All right, we got another small sticker. Hitesh. We love Hitesh here at the show. Rock wants cooperation with him as Vince, Cody as his co-op champ. Imagine Jacob Fatu as the anti-authority, but TKO seems to favor Triple H over The Rock. I think this is going to continue to be a story until we get some resolution. Because right now, the fact that The Rock is only showing up at American Idol and has a couple of movies in the works, we don't know when, but normally he'll tweet Vince from a movie site because he moves his entire gym there. We haven't seen that yet. We've had no tweets from him on anything. Everything The Rock does is intentional. Yeah. And we're now going from the beginning of March, April, May, June, into July with not just no tweets, not a comment, nothing for a guy they just brought back in January and paid him $40-some million. Vince, there's something going on here. Yeah. They're just ignoring it.
Yeah. And I don't believe for a second that TKO is favoring Triple H. I don't believe that for a second. I believe that right now Rock is doing other things and he's busy with his movie schedule and who knows what else he has going on. If TKO had a choice, I think they would have Rock over Triple H in a heartbeat. So I don't think TKO is favoring Triple H in any way, shape, or form.
But at least in this current form, we get Triple H as a narrator for Unreal starting on July 20th. I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah.
And so we walk into the office, and here's where we decide.
Coach,
yes,
I swear to God, do you know who Jeremy Borash is, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Okay, bro. When we were doing TNA, you need to send somebody to warm up the crowd. Okay,
Yep.
That was Jeremy Borash's job. Jeremy Borash would go out at the top of the show, warm up the crowd, get everybody hyped up. Okay, you know, a fluffer, if you will, Coach. Coach, somebody sent me personal footage that they took at the WWE Pittsburgh show. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Guess who's going out there warming up the crowd?
Jeremy Borash?
No. Triple H went out there to warm up the crowd.
Please tell me more. Please tell me more.
I can supply the footage. I don't know if we get sued for that with them. I don't know how that works.
We don't show any footage from WWE.
It was the guy took the footage. Triple H went out to warm up the crowd. And I'm like, when does this guy write? How does he get his name on the credits? When does this guy write?
First of all, I can't even believe you and I are going back and forth like this today. Clearly, when the first credit rolls, it's Paul Levesque and Lee Fitting. Come on, two legendary producers in the business. Lee Fitting did College Game Day for a quarter century. Triple H did. So anyway, they have a situation where he comes out, and I thought to myself, as you were saying it, there were so many times that dark before the show even started that we wasted an appearance by Vince to warm up the crowd. That happened all the time. Oh no, wait, never happened one time. What are we doing? What
can you imagine Vince narrating a show where you're going to pull back the curtain? Can you imagine?
We have another small sticker. Cliffside. I don't even want to comment on that. Unreal debuts July 29th and covers the first Raw on Netflix, the Rumble, Cena's turn at EC, and WrestleMania in the first 5 episodes. Which of those is the most interesting? Cliffside, that is a great question. And for me, very, very easy, Vince. You know where I'm going. Cena's heel turn. I want to see if they really, really show the discussions of having The Rock involved and whether or not they discussed it further than the one night when he was just selling tickets.
Coach, that is not my favorite.
What would be your favorite?
This is going to be my favorite. Okay.
Oh my God.
I don't even know if they're intelligent enough to not do that. Okay.
Where are you going?
I cannot wait to see the first show on Netflix so we could see Trips working the Netflix executives. I cannot wait because you need to see that. That is an art form when they work the network executives. And I don't even know if they're smart enough to not expose that.
I've always enjoyed whenever executives, especially TV executives, come around backstage at a wrestling show. Most of them, they're kind of like musical artists. I remember when we hung out with Kenny Chesney at ESPN. He's like 5'6", and he's like, "Hey, the reason I did is I couldn't play football or basketball." Most TV execs are the same way.
Yeah,
and they love being around stars.
Yes.
They love being around celebrities.
Yes,
and the Netflix guys are no different.
Yep.
So you know he's working them.
Yeah.
But my question is, because I remember that first night, was he working them before or after he opened the show in the ring saying, "We are entertainment. Welcome to Netflix, everybody"? I mean, there's no other superstar that could have done that.
No.
We're starting to get so many examples of this that I know I have an ego. I know I have an ego. I would never put myself in so many of these positions when you've got superstars that are wrestling that people are buying tickets. He's not selling tickets. That's wrestling 101. Use the guys and the ladies that are selling tickets. He's
Coach,
not, and he's in everything.
Yeah, Coach, this is beyond ego. I mean, I've seen ego. This is way when the guy's going out there warming up the crowd. This is way beyond ego. It's I can't even explain it. I don't understand it at all.
Clap Douglas has a small sticker. He says 3 Japanese wrestlers interfering. Sounds like a joke. In every Bradshaw match in 1998 was peak entertainment. Vince, did you create the oddities? Coach, you are the man. I agree. I am. Vince, you can take this one.
Yeah, Clap, that's a great question because, we see this now. Yes, I did create the oddities. Why did I create the oddities? Because those guys were on the roster and my job was to get them in the game. So, yes, I put the oddities together and I bring that up, Coach, because how many times are we reading every single week somebody sitting on the sidelines? They don't know why they're sitting on the sidelines. They're healthy. They're ready to go. Who was the guy this past week, Coach? Who's the Bearcat? What's his name again? The Bearcat? He's on AEW now. Yeah, come on, help me in the chat room. You guys know the big guy, the big black guy who's married to Mi Chin. What's his name?
Yeah, who's the big black guy married
who's the big black dude married to Mi Chin? Come on, help me out in the chat. But he was online. He said this week, Keith Lee. Thank you.
Keith Lee. Okay, yeah.
Give everybody a shout out. King of Hoochie, Dr. Thanos, Future. Thank you. Keith Lee said, I'm perfectly healthy. I've been healthy for 3 months. I'm under contract and nobody's calling me. That's why you would create groups like the Oddities, man. If somebody's under contract and you're paying them, get them on the show.
In some way, shape, or form.
Yes.
In some way, shape, or form. My goodness. By the way, I do need to correct something. It makes more sense now. Producer Man said that our first George was talking about evolution, not evolve. So he's talking about evolution, not evolve.
Okay.
So he just miswrote it.
Okay.
That makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah.
A lot more sense now.
Yeah.
I mean, Beyonce is going to outsell them, no question. All-Star Weekend, All In. Oh, my goodness. I mean, it's almost like their pettiness could bite them in the butt. Yeah. Because you're going to have the main event on Saturday night in Atlanta, and then you've got wherever Evolution is. Is it also in Atlanta? Producer Man, can you help me out?
Yeah,
I'm assuming they're going to have, because the Evolution photo op is also through the 13th. So that would mean that they're also going to be in Atlanta for the 11th through the 13th. You don't want to miss the photo op courtesy of Fanatics.
No.
So, sometimes the pettiness can get, and I don't believe for a second, Vince, that the WWE did not do this on purpose.
Yeah.
They went head to head against All In of AEW. They could have put it on the 18th. It wouldn't have been All-Star Weekend. They could have done that. Yeah. And it wouldn't have hurt anybody. And then 2 weeks later, you still have SummerSlam. It'd have been fine. But to do it on the same night.
Yeah. Well, they may luck out because by the time the show comes around, Beyonce may not be with us, Coach, because she's almost fallen out of the car. Have you seen this, Coach? Did you see this? Bro, she's got a spot on her show where they've got some convertible, beautiful.
Oh, I did see that. Yes, yes.
They almost dumped her right off, bro. So hopefully Beyonce will still be with us when
I would tell her the same thing that you say all the time. They've already bought the tickets.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. We so this is pretty cool. So we have what I call a mini sticker from Society Reviews. He goes, WWE put Evolution across the street from Beyonce. So apparently she is in Atlanta on the same night. Jeez. But she's doing stadiums. So this has got to be at the arena where the Hawks play, and then she's probably at the football stadium across the street.
Well, now I got to ask the question: who was the third most downloaded woman on Google?
Stephanie Vicure.
Is she more downloaded than Beyonce? That's the question, Coach. How about that? What do you think?
They've already sold the ticket. All right. The stickers just keep on coming. Another small sticker. Rep Morgan says, I think The Rock has been laying low since the whole internet figured out what he was up to. But I hope soon he continues on his quest to take over. That's part of this whole mind-blowing thing. That at some point, Vince, it can't keep being what's coming, and you got to pay it off. And to make me think that was the payoff involving The Rock and that was all it was, and now the fans are making up new narratives because they want it to be true. They want this to be a long thing, so Rock shows up, music, lightning, the whole deal. But Vince, we're going on almost 5 months. You're in the most important period in the history of the company.
Yeah.
And he's been nowhere except hugging Jelly Roll. And if that's the case, I forgot about this one. WWE, they're in business now with obviously UFC and TKO. So Dana White is promoting the Terrence Crawford Canelo Alvarez mega fight in Las Vegas. Well, WWE is now promoting the fight because guess who is helping with the promotion? Nick Khan.
Yeah.
And so now they're doing cross promotion. They're doing boxing. They're trying anything and everything because obviously they'll get a percentage of the gate for this thing, which could be ginormous.
Yeah.
There it is right there. It is. I mean, it just feels like, I don't know if you felt like this the other day. I was watching Night of Champions. And when I used to do the show, they would give you a stack of reads, we call them. Mm-hmm. And it would be, and you have a stage manager and just hand you. I felt like all Michael Cole did was read promos and read tickets on sale. Yeah. And we're going all the way out to Survivor Series right now.
Yeah.
Did you feel that same way?
There was a lot of that on Monday. Every time they came back from break, there was a bumper where they were selling you something else. There was a lot of that on Monday night, Coach.
A lot of that.
Yeah.
But and believe me, I get it. I understand. But man, at some point. So we talked on Monday a little bit on our Stadium show, which, by the way, I've had so many tweets about those of you who watched us on Stadium. Thank you. Vince, we look amazing on a big screen, by the way, on Amazon Prime Video.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah,
we looked great. And we talked about the usage, and we're talking about it right now, of certain superstars. What did you make? Because I've had a lot of time to think about this, and a lot of people online. I've had Dirt Sheet Dan all over this. The Karrion Krosses of the world, and the fact that now fans are almost starting a push. I feel like similar to what happened with Ron Killings. That if the WWE doesn't listen to the fans this time, then that momentum could just be held back. Because I feel like Karrion Kross is one guy that's a can't miss right now, and he's over like Rover. But they had him lose. And then Sami Zayn, who was a superhero, as we've discussed, he gets the tag spot instead of what I think could have been cool is what if he had Karrion Kross, even if he's a heel. And wasn't it Jey Uso that was the tag with Sami Zayn? Who was the tag on Monday night?
Penta.
Yeah. Oh, my God, Penta. By the way, did you see the video of his meet and greet that he had? Have you seen this?
I did not know.
Oh my God, I've got to get the producer man. So he had a meet and greet at a wireless cell phone store, and they had it set up. And the line was they had it set up where you walk through, and he's over here. So you walk through like this, and then you meet him here, and you go right back out the door. It reminded me of the night that I drank with Derek Jeter for $85 at WWF New York years ago. He walked into the room for the VIPs who spent $150 on the VIP room. And he walked in, never stopped moving, grabbed an orange juice, no alcohol, and just kept walking straight through the kitchen, right backstage. And all these people that had spent $150 were like, what the hell just happened? I caught a glimpse of Derek Jeter. Penta was standing there. Vince, I kid you not. All these people and I don't even know where it was, that were waiting on Penta. They were walking through. They kept the line moving. There was no talking to him. There was no
Oh, my
autographs. He
God.
was shaking hands with gloves on. He was like, hello, hello, hello. And it was like an assembly line. I was like,
And they paid for that?
they, as far as I know, they paid for it.
Oh, my gosh.
They paid for it. I know. B40. We got a lot of good stickers today. I can't buy into Sami hurting anyone.
Can I address something real quick?
Of course.
Because again, I guys, you watch this show to get an understanding of the wrestling business. We could sit here and critique shows and this, and we could do that all day long. Coach, you talked about Karrion Kross. You talked about Sami Zayn, going over on Karrion Kross.
Mm-hmm.
Coach, his contract is up in August. So what they're doing is they are stripping him of any bargaining power whatsoever. They certainly are not going to put Karrion Kross in a strong position to negotiate a month before his contract is up. That's exactly what's going on.
How in the world, when you've got a guy like him who's selling merchandise like crazy, it is flying off the shelves. It's absolutely the opposite of what most organizations would do when they have a star. When you have a star, you push him to the moon. That's when you open up the checkbook. It's not, well, we could get him on the cheap. Then, as we know in wrestling, guys get pissed off. Well, I got lowballed, had nowhere to go. It's still WWE, so I'll sign it. And then a year into a 3-year deal, they're completely pissed off because they know that they're underpaid. Karrion Kross, to me, it would be a top. If I was to retain guys, and you give me the entire roster based off of fan reaction and all of it, he's one of my top 5 guys right now.
Mm-hmm.
How can they be trying to screw him over? He's got a great valet and his wife. They're dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you do that other than the obvious? Other than the obvious. But I agree with you.
Yeah, well, again, who's calling the shots? A talent. A former talent is calling the shots. And we talk about this all the time, Coach. Jealousy. Am I keeping a thumb so somebody doesn't get more over than I was? All that stuff comes into play.
All right. Let's keep it going. You guys have a lot of good questions, a lot of good takes. B40. I enjoy 40 when I get there someday. I can't buy into Sami hurting anyone. Show some respect yourself, fellow wrestlers selling for you to go to the gym. I mean, it's. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure he is. But they make a good point when he doesn't look like somebody that can hurt anyone. He's tough, but
can you imagine, Coach? Think about this again. Let's go behind the scenes, and this is what people don't get on these other shows. They knew Sami was doing the job to Braun Breaker, so they actually have to tape Sami's ribs to protect Sami Zayn. In other words, if Sami didn't have tape ribs, he would have never lost to a Braun Breaker spear. Do you know how ridiculous that is? That you feel you have to protect that guy to that level? Are you kidding me?
I've never, and I know it's subjective. and I know every fan has their favorites, and I love that about wrestling. But when I look at certain guys, and Sami Zayn, no disrespect at all, but I've never looked at him ever and thought ass kicker, and thought, man, in a real fight, yes, he's tough. In a real fight, though, Braun Breaker would break all of these guys in half. This guy is, to me, a superstar in the waiting.
Yeah.
I love him. But did you notice Sami Zayn, not only did they tape his ribs, but in that match, he damn near beat both guys.
Yeah.
Almost by himself.
Again, Coach, he's obviously somebody's favorite. And you look at the show and you know who the favorites are. It's crystal clear.
Aquari in Ninja 89. I'm sure I got that right. Hey, Coach and Vince, as heels, did you draw your inspiration from other wrestlers, or were you two just naturals at it? I'll take this first one, Vince. Do you know me? I'm a natural heel. Anybody will tell you that. Not just anybody can pick up the microphone and cut a heel. If you can't talk, you can't get over. We do this in an instant like that. Does that answer your question? Vince, take it from here.
Yeah, no, Coach. I just knew everybody hates New Yorkers.
They do.
My mentality is, okay, you want to hate New Yorkers, I'm going to give you a reason. That's really what I went on, the fact that everybody hates New Yorkers, so I just amped that up by 1,000.
I got a call today on Off the Ropes, and this guy said, I've got to admit, Coach, man, when I heard you were going to get your own radio show with the guy, it annoyed me because you've always annoyed me. And then I had to sit here and be honest with myself. And I'm a grown adult now. I'm 30 years old. And 10-year-old me hated you.
Yeah.
30-year-old me says, damn, he did his job.
Absolutely.
He did his job. I love hearing that.
Yeah.
And by the way, there's nothing more fun than being a heel.
Yeah.
It's a ton of fun because you can just go off and make fun of anybody, and not everybody can do it. Not everybody's believable being a jerk.
And not only that, but we're in an age, Coach, where everybody wants to be liked. Everybody wants to be liked. So it's, not everybody's going to do that convincingly.
No doubt. Cliffside is back. My man Cliffside. Why ain't we seen Russo and Gerwitz sit down after all of these years? Hearing y'all talk your writing philosophies would be great. Coach, make it happen. I mean, I don't know if we can make that happen, but that could be an hour special right there. I do believe that. Both of you guys are. Brian's great, and I think Brian's a great promo writer for Rock in particular. And I think you are a great show writer because you look at things in the most massive book for the masses way of any writer that's ever booked and written for wrestling ever.
Yeah. Yeah. I contacted Brian not too long ago with an idea I had or whatever. And man, he was really great to me. He steered me in the right direction. We had a good conversation. So, I mean, I really didn't get to work with Brian at all. I mean, maybe a cup of coffee. I don't even really remember the times, but I have nothing but good things to say about the dude.
When I moved to Connecticut, and I was looking for an apartment. He had an apartment in downtown Stanford, and he wanted to move into the city, which I thought was strange because they met in Stanford, but he wanted to live in New York City. And then they kind of they started doing phone calls where you could do it from home. He's on the road 3 days a week, so he didn't really have to live in Stanford anymore. So I actually sublet my very first apartment from Brian in Stanford all those years ago.
That's awesome.
And so we've stayed in contact. I'll be honest, when he first started, and this shows the jealousy of the wrestling business, because everybody wanted to be close to The Rock. And Brian was like, you know what? I'm going to write all of his shit. And he did. And so it got to the point where Rock wouldn't even work with anybody else. And that's the beauty of the wrestling business, because if you can, as a referee, as a writer, as anybody, hook your wagon to one of the biggest stars, isn't that the best place to be?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't take advantage. Coach, I'm not going to lie to you. Listen, I tell this story all the time. I don't even know if you know this story, Coach. Coach, when Rock was Dwayne Johnson, in my mind, I kept hearing The Rock, The Rock, The Rock. Coach, I never said anything because of Don Morocco. Don The Rock Morocco. I did not want to disrespect Don Morocco, but I kept getting haunted by The Rock, The Rock, The Rock. Coach, we were at a Monday Night Raw, just a typical Monday Night Raw, and Dwayne Johnson is opening up the show. And I called him over. I said, Dwayne, I got an idea. Go out there tonight and refer to yourself as The Rock. And he goes, what do you mean, Vince? I said, you're the third person. Everything you say is The Rock said, The Rock this, The Rock that. Just refer to yourself as The Rock. He goes, really? I said, yeah, just try it. He went out there, First time he said, The Rock says, and Coach, you know those moments when you see something and you know, like, brother, like, that's it. And that night, The Rock was born. So, bro, I'm not going to lie to you. When I see Brian Gerwertz making buku money, working for The Rock and $6 production.
$7.
I'm gonna be honest with you. That bites me in the ass a little bit, Coach. Like, it really does. I'm like, bro, I kind of suggested the whole gimmick to him. I was writing the stuff at the beginning, and it just, I gotta be honest with you, it kind of stings a little bit, Coach. I'm not gonna lie.
I can understand that. There's only so many times in life where you get an opportunity to hit something big.
Yeah.
So I can understand that. It's and he also was the lead writer for Young Rock, the show on NBC that went for 3 or 4 seasons.
I could use some of that green, Coach. I could use some of those green bucks, to be honest with you. But it's.
Are you saying that our BTT YouTube page isn't like handling the mortgage for Vince Russo? Is that what you're saying?
But Coach, it was the same night. I'll never forget King of the Ring. See, and this is why people say, like, people actually say, Coach, I've made that story up about The Rock. Like, they actually say that. And I'm like, bro, if I was going to make up any story, it would be that I came up with Austin 316. Yeah. I'll never forget, Coach, the night of the King of the Ring. Austin says, Vince, I want to run this promo by you. He hits me with the Austin 316. Bro, as soon as the words come out of his mouth, I'm like, that's it. And as soon as he delivered, you know how, like, you just know those moments, like, I experienced both of those moments where you just knew, bro, that's bigger than anything else we'll ever do here.
And in the wrestling business, for those of you watching at home, when you hear something like that, you're looking at Stone Cold or The Rock, and you're like, their 3-month merch check just went through the roof.
Forget it.
Through the roof. Yeah. And Stone Cold was not one. He recently, I saw an interview where he didn't feel like he came up with the 316 t-shirt, right? So he didn't feel like his check was big enough for how many he was seeing in the arenas every single night. So he went to Vince and he goes, I don't think my check is big enough. Now, there's a formula they go about with the merchandise at WWE. I've always said it's like 0.00036% of every dollar, because I know I get $73 every 3 months to this day for my banger of a entrance song from 2002 on volume number 4. Don't even mess with me. But the next 3 months, Stone Cold said that Vince hand delivered the merch check to him to make sure that it was enough that time.
Yeah. And I want to say this too about The Rock, bro. This is why I say all the time. After The Rock was established, Coach, every single TV, he would come up to me with a brand new catchphrase. Every single TV. I mean, that's how he worked. That's how his mind worked. And every catchphrase was a t-shirt, and every catchphrase was $1 million. That's why The Rock is The Rock.
I tell young kids all the time that if you want to be not just a wrestler, but just a star in any form of entertainment, you got to do what The Rock did every day. When he walked in the building, from the moment he walked in to the moment he walked out, it was all business.
Yes,
how can I make the most money possible?
Absolutely.
You'd see him over there huddling with the merch guys, and then you're going over his match, and then downtown Bruno is bringing him his chicken breast at just the right time because his metabolism makes sure he had it was all a thing. It was a whole big thing.
Yeah.
He was the only one that could do whatever he wanted. He could show up when he wanted because they knew he was not going to be on until the main event, and they knew when he came out he was going to deliver every single time.
Yep, absolutely, yeah.
All right, we got a medium sticker from Angel. I wonder how Netflix feels about having Zayn, Penta, Balor on Raw Weekly, and your established stars barely on the shows. Randy has only done 15 dates this year, and Roman only 10. It's July, And Vince, Angel brings up a great point because I was recently misquoted again about Roman Reigns, and apparently I'm the authority on everything WWE, because the dirt sheet says Coach said that TKO is going to force Roman Reigns to renegotiate his salary. When I said right here with you that it's a no-brainer, and it doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure out that the way they deal with talent, if somebody's only going to show up, 10 times through the first 6 months of the year, are they going to be paid $15 million?
Yeah.
No, they are not. And I love Roman, and I want everybody to make all their money. But at some point, if you're going to treat everybody like this, you're going to pay the guys the most, the guys that are showing up week in, week out, and selling the tickets. And right now, with all due respect to Roman Reigns, 10 times a year out of 6 months is one out of every. I mean, that's nothing compared to most superstars, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. But, again, I really believe, Roman Reigns' future, in my opinion, is way, way beyond wrestling. I mean,
he's going to be a movie star?
I believe that without a shadow of a doubt. I think he has every quality and everything that it takes. There's really nothing more he could do in the wrestling business. I think guys like Rock and Austin and Cena, I think they reach that point where it's like, what else am I going to accomplish in wrestling? And I think Roman's accomplished it all. I think it's time for him to go on to bigger and better things.
So from what I understand, according to producer man, Roman just had another kid, so that would naturally give him time off. He's rumored to be in the Street Fighter movie that's going to be shot soon. Cody also reportedly is getting cast in that same Street Fighter movie, and this might be the first time that I can think of that a mainstream movie has two WWE superstars in the same cast.
Yeah.
I can't think of another one so far.
Yeah, no, I can't either, Coach. I mean, good friend. Coach, I got to tell you, man, again, and it's like, you know what? Coach, I went, Coach, it's the 4th of July tomorrow. Coach, have you ever done this? Have you ever cooked the whole chicken with the beer up its ass?
I've not. I've cooked a chicken without the beer up its ass, but not the beer with the beer up its ass.
Coach, the chicken with the beer up its ass, right? So, Coach, I had to go to the liquor store to get a can of beer to stick up the chicken's ass tomorrow. Okay? Coach, WWE all over liquor. All over Cody Rhodes, all over vodka, this, that. Orton, all Wheatley. Wheatley was the brand.
Yeah, they sponsor his podcast.
Yeah, they're all over it. And I'm like, you know what, bro? It is unbelievable. Every single angle, this company is making freaking money. Like, seriously, you got to look at that and you've got to shake your head. My only thing is, as a fan, it's just so oversaturated that it's getting to be too much. But my God, man, they're in the liquor store all over everything, Coach.
You know why they're so good at this? Because to us, we know that it's oversaturated. What they are brilliant at, and you've already mentioned it, Triple H hobnobbing with the Netflix guys and making them feel like, man, you got a deal at $5 billion for 10. Are you kidding?
Yes.
And then you walk into Wheatley Vodka and you go, how would you like to have an exclusive podcast with our biggest star, Cody Rhodes? And then you walk into Slim Jim and you go, you guys have been with us for years. Hey, don't even worry about it. We're going to take it up a notch. We're going to put you on the tables.
Yes.
And then, not just tables, Vince, the ladders. No, that's for Fireball. Fireball.
Right.
And then you walk into 7-Eleven, you're getting yourself a Gatorade, and you're like, hey, guys, what about the lowest turnbuckle? Would you like to have the 7-Eleven there? And so they do such a great job because
man.
These executives, they get so excited to be around these guys, and they use it to their advantage when they go, man, not only that, we're going to throw in 8 tickets to the show. Would you like that?
Now, all they have to do, Coach, is somehow, some way prevent these executives from watching the show. Because then the executives watch the show and say, Penta and Sami Zayn are in the main event.
Vince, the only way you can create main event stars is to put them in the main event.
Absolutely.
Come on. Steven St. John. Wasn't that a supermodel?
Susan St. John. McMillan
Susan St. Steven St. John. What am I kidding?
Yeah.
Both of your thoughts on Kane. WWE really let his character down in the later years. I know that when he was towards the end that he was really beaten up and he wanted out. Super smart guy. My claim to fame, two things with him, Vince. I've gone viral. Everybody's seen the video when they moved the announce table back by the entrance. And Vince wanted me to mess around with JR, which was very easy for me to do. I actually enjoyed it very much. And he was like, hey, coach, here's what I want you to do. I want you to get real cocky. Put your feet up on the desk and just start talking. Then I'm going to tell JR to do a promo, and then he's going to get so, because JR used to grab my arm whenever I talked to get me to shut up so he could read a promo. So Vince is saying this in my ear. So I put my feet up on the desk and I start just talking. As soon as that happens, boom, they hit Kane's pyro, his fire, his music, and I go ass backwards off the thing, and I just disappear.
Tremendous.
I just disappear. All of a sudden I'm there, all of a sudden I'm not. Yeah. Then the other one is that we were shooting the SummerSlam poster commercial the year I got engaged. And I was in Iowa the night before. I asked my wife or fiance to marry me. And then I had to get on a 6 a.m. flight to Hollywood. Show up at a $9 million mansion. And they said, you know what, coach? I think we're going to have Kane and, God rest his soul, Big Viscera toss you off of a house, diving into the back pool. And then on the poster, you'll be like flying through the air. How does that sound to you? Well, it sounded great once. Not 4 times, which is how many times. It was terrifying.
Oh, my.
Terrifying. But I still have the poster, and I'm flying on the poster like I'm Superman.
Oh, I'd love to see that, Coach. I've never seen that. That's awesome.
You haven't seen that?
No.
All right, I'll get a full screen of it.
I'd love to see that. Yes.
So producer man just sent me a text. See, so it's not only the vodka. It is Seagram's Spiked Escape right there.
Yeah, bro, it was also, you said it too, Coach. Orton was on the Fireball. Orton was on Fireball. Cody was on Wheatley. And now you've got this. And then you've got Triple H and Stephanie at the White House with Robert Kennedy Jr. talking about nutrition for kids. Okay, so figure that one out, Coach.
Kids. There's no calories in Fireball.
Yeah, nothing like a good Fireball to put in your Lucky Charms, man. Yeah.
Have you seen? There's a skit out there, and Fireball has a paid brand ambassador, and I think she's 85, a little bit older than 85. And she, in this skit, in this commercial, she is throwing a Fireball infused party at the nursing home.
Oh my God.
And they're basically, it's kind of like a WWE stuff's happening all over the room type of thing with Fireball being at its base.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a 90-year-old pounding Fireball
oh my God,
at a nursing home?
Oh my God, I got to see
I've got to find it. It's absolutely hilarious. And she's talking through it like, I still party. Are you kidding me? We're getting down in the Fireball house.
That's crazy.
I was like, this is fantastic marketing. You go from Randy Orton to Grandma June in the nursing home. Same. This show is so good. We just went over an hour. I didn't even realize. I thought it was like 30 minutes. I thought it was 30 minutes. We've gotten to all of we have one more super sticker. So we'll do that last one. If you can get it to me, producer man, as fast as possible. My eyes are so, when did your eyes get really bad, Vince?
Oh, God. Well, do you know, Coach, you don't know this about me, but I have in my eyes, my corneas are from a cadaver. I had to get my corneas replaced, Coach. Both of them.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Your corneas.
Very painful too, Coach. Very painful.
All right. All right, leave this up here. I'll try to read it. Producer man, I can't read it if it's not up there. I literally can't read it. There you go. Pop pushing Gunther as a long-term star. Then he should have never lost for 3 or 4 years. He's broken. Now he comes across a lame doppelganger. Who's Papa?
I don't know.
They think maybe they're talking about Karrion Kross. Maybe that's it. Not quite sure.
Papa H. Papa H. It's supposed to be Hunter.
Oh, got it. I'm still. We're going to talk about it next week as we get closer to it. But I've heard a lot of different thoughts on how they think this Goldberg Gunther situation is going to go. And the ones I've heard so far, it's not good for anybody. I heard one today, Vince, that they think that Goldberg has to play in the sandbox and do the job so that his son, who's a 6'4" linebacker, apparently a can't-miss prospect, as is Mark Henry's son, who's going to OU as a wrestler and a football player, that Goldberg wants his son to be in the WWE later, so he's going to do whatever they tell him to do.
Yeah, well, that would make sense.
It would make sense.
Yeah.
I would do anything for my son. If that meant laying down for a 3 count, so be it.
Yeah.
So be it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Vince, thoughts on Disco turning heel on you? Did Disco just turn heel on you?
Bro, I've been arguing with Disco since 1999, Coach. It's a nonstop 26-year argument. Nonstop.
I have a feeling we're going to have a nonstop joking around. I love joking around on this show. It's my favorite thing. All right. That's going to do it. Do not forget.
There's another one, Coach. I think there's another
John
one.
Cena needs to turn face again. He's going to.
Yeah.
MDH, he's going to. I think it's going to be at SummerSlam. There's no way, Vince. Maybe they'll shock the world.
Yeah.
There is no way that December 13th in Boston, Massachusetts, for his final match, he comes out as a heel. It's never going to happen.
No way. Yeah.
Can you imagine if they did, though?
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, since that final match is going to be against Triple H, Triple H is going to be the baby face in the match.
You have to stop.
We're going to have a problem, man.
You have to stop.
Triple H has to be the baby face. Do you think the night Triple H faces John Cena in his last match in Boston, that he's also going to go out there and warm up the crowd? You think he's going to do pull double duty that night?
I don't, but I do think he's going to get the entrance before the commercial.
Yes.
Do the water spray.
Yes.
Get all 4 corners of the and then go to break, so then he can mess with the crowd for 3 or 4 minutes like they do right now.
Bingo.
That's what's going to happen.
Yes.
All right. Thank you all very much for all of the small, medium. That's all we had today. Small, medium stickers. We love all of you, though. We are here every single Monday and Thursday, new time, because of my new radio show, but you guys found us today, as you always do, in the chat. Keep that popping all the time. This is a place you have really smart wrestling content. There is no place for marks or those that want to be completely negative all the time. Go find another show. We talk the reality of pro wrestling. So that'll do it for now. We'll see you on Monday. Have a great 4th of July. Be safe out there. If you're traveling, do it very, very safely. And do not forget, we record on Monday. It also airs on Wednesday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Also repeats Thursday morning at 6 a.m. Eastern Time, live on the Stadium Network, Prime Video, DirecTV, YouTube TV, etc. That'll do it for now. For my man Vince Russo of russosbrand.com, producer man behind the scenes, Dirt Sheet Dan, always out there getting the dirt. I am the coach. We'll see you next time. This is the Coach and Bro Show.